Hey kids, welcome back to Worth the Spin. Hopefully there was a snazzy little intro video typey thing at the beginning of this. I don't know yet. My high dollar technical team is working on it at the moment. We'll see how that goes. I'm your host, just Jack. Just me, guys. Alrighty. Today we're going to talk about another one of those groups that in my area would be called they did a song that would be considered a Keishi classic or the lone classic. So it's a song that probably was either maybe their only hit or the only thing that they did that actually charted, or the only song that most people thought was good enough to listen to, or like me, bought the album just for that one in particular song. Ever how you want to look at it. So today's artist we're going to look at, it's called Off Broadway. And I'll tell you what, get rid of this protective coating and see if that reduces our glare. I have my lighting team still working on the lighting aspect of it all. That's your front cover. And this is your snazzy little back cover right here. Hope you can see that. Alright, this is the first pressing of Off Broadway's debut album from 1977. This is the inner sleeve. You got your nice little lyrics. That's always nice. So you know what they're saying. Other side, some light bulbs to help you be able to see those snazzy lyrics. The name of this album was called On. Significant to the fact that the album cover has a light bulb that's on in your inner sleeve. Light bulb. Alright. Let's take a look at this vinyl real quick. Let me get this back in packaging. Alright, this is on Atlantic Records. This is your label, side 1. And for those who are curious if side 2 looks anything like side 1, surprise, surprise. It does so. There you go. There's your side 2 of this vinyl. Alright, Off Broadway. Let's talk about Off Broadway. So this is a band that hails from Oak Park, Illinois. An area I know fairly well as I go there about once a year for a convention thing, and it's usually in that area of Oak Park. It has moved since the past couple of years, but we spent probably about 10 years in that area, so I'm pretty familiar with that area. There's a lot going on there. If you're not familiar with Illinois, or if you're familiar with St. Louis, my personal opinion, it's basically about the same thing. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just, it is what it is. Alrighty, so this is one of those bands that had a lot of different lineup changes. Like some of the bands in the 70s, it seems to have been a thing in the 70s. Some bands come along, they have a bunch of lineup changes for whatever reason. They can't find their way, they're not meshing as a group. Some of the members don't care. Other ones are just like, my name's not big enough on the record cover. Whatever the reasons being. So Off Broadway is one of those types of groups. They were around. There's a lot of lineup changes. They did a couple albums, kind of faded away. So we're going to talk about the lineup on this album because that's the one that we care about the most, since this is what we're talking about. And it's the only album in my collection. And I'm not going to lie, it's only in my collection for that one song. It's not a bad album. It's a good album. It's one you can put on, listen to it in the background, and just kind of listen to it. And afterwards, it's just kind of, well, I'm done with it. That's kind of that, It's not a spectacular album. It's not a bad album. It's certainly worth the spin. But as I always say, every album's always worth the spin at least once. You're never going to know if you like it or if you don't listen to it at least once. There are bands, singers that I've listened to one time. Not just one song, but a song intrigued me or a couple songs intrigued me, whatever. And I listened to that album. When I was younger and started buying albums, I would buy whatever came out, bought the single. And for you kids who don't know what I'm talking about, it was a little round mini version of the big version of the vinyl record. And it had one song on one side, one on the other. I'd buy it and then probably go out and buy the album too. Back then, that's just what you did. You bought the single and you bought the album. Nowadays, you just download the whole album and you don't worry about anything whatsoever. So, this band consisted of, at the time, Paul Darrell, Cliff Johnson, John something, I can't remember his name, Dan guy named Dan and a guy named Paul. I remember that. So I remember pretty much that part. One day I might be professional and look up some info on these albums and have a little bit more in-depth for you. But I think we're covering basically what we need to cover with Off-Broadway, given as they only did a couple albums and then kind of faded away. This one, their biggest single was off of this album, and that was the one that we call the Casey Classic or the Lone Classic, and that peaked at number 51 on the Hot 100. After that, the whole album and single just kind of drifted away. They did a follow-up album, and it drifted away and never really charted, and the band just kind of went their own separate ways. One of the things that originally kind of drew me to this band in the early 80s when I came across them was the fact that I was a fan of a certain science fiction television show. One of the main characters who played that was named Paul Darrell, spelled exactly the same way as Paul Darrell in Off-Broadway. Totally different people. I find it interesting when I didn't have the internet back then in those days, like you crazy kids do now. You can just like, let's Google this dude. And so I had to get the album, and it wasn't him. But I like the song. The album's okay. I bought a lot of albums back then, and I listened to them. I either didn't listen to them again or I did. And I just went into the collection. I had this pretty massive collection for a while there. And massive collections are good if you have the time to listen to them. And if they're really filled with really unique, hard to find, cool stuff that you would go through and go, wow, look at this. I've not seen this album in a long time. That kind of makes it worth sitting there just taking up space. I've gotten to the point to where I'm starting to get to where taking up space with things is just taking up space. So I'm kind of weeding those out for things that are a little more cool, a little more different aspects. Like I've got one that I'm going to go look at today that has I Feel Fine on it with a false tambourine, false hi-hat start. That's interesting to me, because it's not on the actual song, and I don't believe I have any other versions of I Feel Fine which contain that. So that is interesting to me. So that's kind of cool to have, because being a big Beatles fan, that's kind of cool. What's that got to do with Off-Broadway? I have no idea. So Off-Broadway, were these guys from Broadway? Did they perform on Broadway? They did not. Just a bunch of guys got together, put a band together, throwing out record contracts in the early 70s, just like deck of cards, just walking around. They got one, didn't work out. Basically, that's the story. Wish I had a lot more to tell you about these guys, but I don't. That's pretty much the way it went with this band. And like I said, a lot of bands in the 70s, early 80s, it kind of went that way, especially when MTV hit. And there's music videos everywhere, and everybody's watching the music videos, and your sales of your album didn't so much depend, or seemed like, didn't depend so much on that single you released as it did that video you released and how much that was watched on MTV. That seemed to generate more album sales from my memory than what actual singles did. For me, I like the videos. I like they were cool. I've never seen a video for this. I like the videos. I thought they were cool. But I like to get that single, listen to it, flip it over, listen to that side. And even though, 9.9% of the time the B-side was the same as on the album, I always buy the album anyway. I did. It's just kind of the way it went back then. So that's Off-Broadway, and that's this album. Sorry, put it too far away. On. So if this is one you're interested in, I don't remember what I paid for this album. My guess is probably it was around the $8 range. It's not a big seller. I don't see it very often. This was the first one I've seen in a long time. And I don't think that I have seen it since, to be completely honest with you. It's, again, not a big seller. And the song is one of those things, it's just kind of a, I kind of remember that song, but not really the band. So that's kind of the deal there. The rest of the record's good. It's your typical 70s soft rock, I guess, trying to type music. It's not Not great. It's not a lot of guitar solos in it. Not a lot of over-the-top vocals or keyboards or anything. It's just kind of a soft rock type thing. And they wanted to be a number one album, and unfortunately it didn't work out. So, again, Off Broadway. Is this worth listening to? It is worth listening to. Very much so. I love that song. Stay in Line. That was their only, like I said, their only number one hit off of this album. It's a great song. Unfortunately, the rest of the album doesn't follow on the same level. Everything else is a little bit below. But sometimes when you're single, your strongest song on your album is your first single. That's kind of the way that it works out. So this is worth the spend. If you see it, get it, listen to it. I wouldn't go more than $5. You could probably, if you look in dollar bins, you might even find this in a dollar bin, to be honest with you. And that's kind of, kind of it. Sorry, guys. But that's what I got for you on that today. So, trying to make the best of this last week or two that I have here of not having to be somewhere every day at a certain time. Trying to get some of these videos in under my belt so that when I say, hey, join me next week for my next video, that next week there will actually be a next video. So some of these might hit early, especially since some are going to be kind of short. I just toss them right out there and keep the longer ones for later. We'll see. Hey, I just hit 400 views on YouTube. I got that email yesterday. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it very much. Somebody is enjoying this video, and that is awesome. So the whole point of it is just trying to trying to use a little time wisely in my life. I've gotten to a point to where I feel like I'm always under the gun. I've got a lot going on, and I have all these things to do. And at the end of the day, I've spent 3 hours in my chair staring at the wall or listening to the same record 2 or 3 times. So I don't know. But I do enjoy doing these videos. I hope you enjoy them. I know somebody's enjoying them. If not, 400 of you, at least one person who's watched it 400 times. So either way, it's very much appreciated. Again, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe. I love subscribers. I think I have 10 now. That's pretty good. Never thought I'd get 10, to be honest with you. So I'm pretty happy with 10. I appreciate every single one of you. Appreciate everyone who's watched these videos. And if you've enjoyed it before, hope you enjoy them going forward. Hope you enjoyed this. Sorry I didn't have a lot more meat and potatoes for you on this album, but I threw a dart. I just took a bunch of records, stuck them on the wall downstairs, and threw a dart, and that's where the dart landed. Just kidding. I would never do that. Anyway, just picking out. Now I'm just kind of picking out some of my more obscure, rare stuff. It's rare in the fact that you don't see it much. You don't hear people talk about it much. So I thought, let's get some of this out there and see if maybe somebody listens to this and say, well, he made it sound like it's a good album, at least the one song. It's in the $2 crate. I'm going to listen to it. And you never know. Like I say, you could listen to it like, wow, I love this album. It's so much worth $2. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you next week for my next one. Or next time. I got to learn to start saying next time. It's a lot more guarantee of a next time than next week. So we're going to talk about this one right here. Because like I said, I'm going to do a few of these in a row. So I'm a little bit more consistent. So we're going to talk about that one right there. If you take a look, that's it right there. Alrighty, until then, next time I'll see you later. Take care. Be kind to one another. Not enough kindness out there in the world. Watch the news again this morning. Got to stop doing that. Let's be kind to one another. Let's just spread a little bit of love out there. And find something for the musical soundtrack of your life. Make it good. Make it happy. Don't make it sad. Too many sad things. Let's sprinkle love and joy and try to have a good time on what time we have left here on this planet. According to the news, there's an object traveling very far from outer space towards ours and will be here in November. So as far as we know, come November, we might all be running under the rule of lizards. You never know. Yeah, sounds sci-fi. Yeah, I know. Until the day it happens, and then you go, well, it doesn't sound so sci-fi no more. All right, take care. Don't worry, lizards ain't going to happen. They're too small to make us do anything. We get to step on them. Anyway, don't do that. Cruelty to animals is bad. You see a chance, get this album. If you don't, maybe you'll like this next one right here. And I will talk to you next time. Take care. Thanks for watching.